The house was dark, too quiet. As I walked through the front door, the weight of the day still clinging to me, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. It wasn't the usual silence that comes from a sleeping family. No, this was different, heavy, oppressive, like the air itself was hiding a secret. My name is Frank, and I am 41 years old. Carolyn is 39. Carolyn should have been in bed by now, but something felt off. The shadows seemed longer, the stillness louder. I called out her name, my voice low and tentative, but there was no answer. My heart picked up its pace as I walked down the hallway, the floor creaking beneath my feet. The door to our bedroom was open just a crack, light spilling out into the hallway in a sliver. I pushed it open, and that's when I saw it. Her phone glowing in her hands, the messages on the screen scrolling rapidly. The name at the top was Justin, a man I didn't recognize. My breath caught in my throat, and for a second, the world seemed to freeze. The moment I had been dreading, my heart pounded as I stepped closer, the suspense growing with each inch I covered. Carolyn looked up, startled, her face going pale. She quickly locked the phone and set it aside, but the damage was done. My mind was already spinning, searching for answers to questions I wasn't sure I was ready to ask. "What's going on?" I managed to say, my voice barely more than a whisper. For a moment, she said nothing. Then her lips parted, and the words came tumbling out. "I need a divorce." That was 6 months ago. 6 months since my world began unraveling. Back then, I thought it was just some meaningless online flirtation, a scammer, maybe, trying to take advantage of her. But as the weeks passed, I learned the truth. The man she had been talking to wasn't just a stranger on the internet. He was real, and worse, she had planned to meet him. At first, she claimed she didn't go through with it, and like a fool, I believed her. I believed her until the day she told me she wanted a divorce, not because of her betrayal, but because I had caused her so much emotional turmoil that she needed to heal. How did I become the villain? For weeks, I tortured myself trying to understand how our 10 years of marriage had led to this. I blamed myself for everything. Maybe I hadn't been good enough. Maybe I had driven her into the arms of another man. And when she miscarried the twins, I felt like the universe was punishing me for something I hadn't even fully understood. She told her family how much of a monster I was, and they believed her. Friends, people who used to greet me with smiles, now looked at me with judgment. I had become the bad guy in a story I hadn't even known I was a part of. And still, I tried to win her back. It wasn't until she confessed the full extent of her betrayal that reality hit. She had cheated on me with him. It was only oral, she said, as if that made it better. As if the details would somehow lessen the knife she had just driven through my chest. I didn't know what to feel. Anger, sadness, betrayal. It all blurred together, swirling in my mind like a storm I couldn't escape. And yet, I still wanted to fix things. I agreed to therapy. I told the kids it was my fault, that maybe if I had been a better husband, things wouldn't have turned out this way. We went on dates, tried to repair what was left, but I didn't trust her. How could I? Every time I looked at her, all I saw was the betrayal. And yet, I couldn't walk away. Something inside me was holding on, though I didn't know why. The paranoia was eating me alive. We went on vacation, just the two of us, in a desperate attempt to salvage our relationship. But I had made up my mind before we even left. I was going to end it all. The pain was too much. I couldn't live with the betrayal, the lies, the weight of everything I had lost. But then something strange happened. She made me laugh again. For the first time in what felt like forever, I felt alive. I didn't follow through with my plan. I didn't end it. And when we returned home, I thought maybe, just maybe, there was hope. But the distrust was still there, festering like a wound that wouldn't heal. Every time she picked up her phone, every time she left the room, the doubts crept back in. Was she still talking to him? Was there someone else? The questions gnawed at me day and night. I was trapped between the man I used to be and the man I was becoming. Trapped between wanting to leave and being too scared to. I told her that the part of me that wanted to save our marriage was gone. I couldn't do it anymore. No more poly relationships, no more pretending. She gave me access to her phone and laptop, let me check everything. But no matter how many times I looked, the trust was gone. The part of me that loved her was broken beyond repair. The weeks blurred together, each day a battle between staying and leaving. My mind was a battlefield. Therapy helped, but only so much. I stopped drinking, knowing it would send me down a dangerous path. But the thoughts, the doubts, they never left. I wasn't sure what to do anymore. I wanted to leave, but I also wanted to stay. I told myself I could fix it, that I could be better. But the truth was, I wasn't the one who needed to change. She was. And yet, here I was, still trying to fix something that had been shattered long before I had even realized it was broken. In the end, I realized the hardest battle wasn't with her, it was with myself. I had to learn to let go of the person I thought I was. The man who believed that love could fix anything. The man who believed that loyalty would be enough. Because sometimes the person you trust the most is the one who will hurt you the worst. And sometimes the hardest decision isn't whether to stay or leave. It's figuring out who you are after everything falls apart. The lesson was clear. Even the strongest people can break, but healing is possible if you stop trying to save what's already lost.